Hi, welcome. Today we are celebrating because for the first time we have more than 1,000 followers. Thank you a lot for all the support. So, as a way of doing our own commemoration, we are putting two shorts and a long form content today at this night. So, we've already done the two shorts. I hope you enjoyed. And the long form content, it's this video. So, we will talk about the two best known studies by Richard Réti. So, you will want to see this video until the end because you want to be master, and without knowing those two studies you will never reach that level. So please stay until the end because this will make you stronger. So let's see, who was Richard Réti? Well, Richard Réti is a legend. This guy is the father of the hypermodern theory, and he lived at the 19th century. So, as the other players that lived on those days, he died too soon. So he died with just 40 years old. And about his studies at chess, this guy is super influential because he has written one of the best books of chess, Modern Ideas in Chess, and about of course the endgames. We have these two studies, and he created the Réti's opening. So the Réti's opening is the move knight f3 at the first move. So it's positional, it's interesting. The ideas of Richard Réti was that you don't need to occupy central pieces from the beginning. You can create counterplay and win later the middle game. So this guy was very, very good. He was a great chess player, one of the best on his epoch. So we will study him on another video. You will want to see those studies. So let's jump to our first position. But before that, did you know that 87%, it's too much? 87% of the viewers isn't subscribed. I need your help. I don't know, why don't you like me? I'm a great person. I'm here to help you. So I'm thinking about your future. I want you to reach a higher level. And with my help, you will be able to do that. Yes, true. I'm certain. You just need to continue seeing the contents that we put here, because all the contents that I'm creating, it's just for you, and thinking about your weaknesses and trying to improve everything, even your strengths. So to do this, you just need to click on the red button, you know, that button on the corner. And I think YouTube, when you click, does some fireworks, this kind of things. I think, I'm not certain, but click the button and then tell me something, okay? You can always click on the button and put on the comments if you have any questions, suggestions, critiques. You can always talk with me, even by chess.com. My nickname is dark_attack. If you're enjoying the content, like, and you can always put the notifications on, because every day I'm putting a new video at shorts and long form content. So let's go. First position, it's too simple. So while you're thinking, I will talk a little bit, and because I don't want you to put on pause, I'm thinking about you again. Are you seeing? So this position has been created by Richard Réti on 1921. And talking a little bit about this, the white pawn is promoting on this direction and black is promoting on that direction. And well, the hint that I can give you is on the quote of Aaron Nisopich. The passed pawn is a criminal who should be kept under lock and key. Mid measures such as police surveillance are not sufficient. Sorry for the accent, I'm giving my best, but it's true. So in this position, we are seeing that this pawn is a problem, and we need to kept under lock and key this pawn. How will we do that? It looks impossible, but it isn't. The idea is quite simple. First, we need to centralize this king. Then we will be able to do two things. One, we will keep under lock and key this pawn, and the other alternative is that we will be able to promote our own pawn. So how can we do that? Simple. Because of the fact that this king is at the corner, we need to centralize first the king. We want always to play the king on the diagonals because it's the quickest way of reaching the central squares. So, first line, for example, after king plays to g7, let's see, if pawn advances, again, king f6. And if pawn advances, here we still, we need to think right now if we still can play king to e5 or not. Important. If king plays here, pawn will advance, and this doesn't work because after king here, the pawn will promote and we can't draw the game. For this reason, we need to play king to e6 because after pawn advances, and this king cannot stop the pawn because we are controlling the promotion square. So after pawn promotes, and this position is draw. It's completely equal. So it's a simple way of drawing this game. Of course, everything is beautiful, but black doesn't need to play this way. So again, we've already saw the first variation. Now this is the second one. What have we seen? Simple. Again, if black plays b6 to try to reach our pawn, we will play again king to e5. And what is the difference? This is related to the square, the rule of square rule, I think. So this pawn, we will see that putting arrows until the promotion, the king will enter the square. And if the king enters the square, we will be able to stop the pawn. So as you're seeing, right now the king is inside the square. So right now this is completely draw. But we have a third variation. So after king plays here, this king can play on this direction first. Again, we will play king to f6. And again, this is the easiest variation. After king takes pawn, we will play king to g5. And this is completely draw because king against king, it's a stalemate, it's a draw. So as you saw, this is very simple. But Richard Réti wasn't happy after he created this study. 7 years later, at 1928, he created another one. And this one is more complicated, a little bit. The idea is that on the first position, we have just one black pawn. In this position, we have 3. So it's 3 times more complicated. And yes, the king isn't at the corner, but is lateralized. So this isn't easy to play because we have 1 pawn and he has 3. So how can we draw this position? It's impossible. No, it isn't. I need you to think a little bit because the idea is equal as the study of 1921. And because I want you to reach a higher level, I need you to solve this exercise. So if you need to put on pause, no problem. You can put on pause, think a little bit, because I'm certain that you will improve a lot with this video. Your endgame technique will double. So let's go. First move, we need to play king to g6. Why is that? Because we need to centralize our king. Important. And of course, if I advance this pawn, king would play here and it's done. So first move, king to g6. And let's see, if this king plays to b6 to try to win our pawn, we need to take risks. So we will take the pawn on g7. After this capture, of course, this king will take. And after that, this is an easy draw because king takes, and okay, the king is inside the square. It's a very big square. So pawn, and king. First line, very easy, very easy. So second line, king plays here, and black can try to win with h5. Again, if I take, I'm going to lose. I'm going to show why this loses. If king plays here, just king b6, and I cannot draw this game, because if I take the pawn on g7, the other will advance and the game is lost. So for this reason, after this advancing, we won't take this pawn. We will take g7. Looks not very natural, but it's necessary to do this move, because after h4, let's take another pawn. h3, and again, do you remember? If I play here, I'm going to lose because this king is threatening to enter on c7. So because of that, we need to play king to e6, because we want to control the promotion squares. So after pawn advances, pawn advance. And if the king plays here, I'm going to place the king on d7. And after pawn promotes, we will promote. This is draw. Incredible, incredible. So next line. So king plays here, and again, pawn advances. Let's take this one, and instead of advancing this pawn, let's advance the other one. f5. Here, we need to play king f6, because we need to keep under lock and key the passed pawns. Nizovic, don't forget Nizovic, very important. So this pawn will advance. And, well, we need to be careful, because king here, we will lose this game because of the fact that king on this square will lose because of f3. I think this draws too, but it isn't the easiest way. f3, I think king d6, yeah, it's the same. But here I will defend king e6 because it's simpler to know and understand. It's the same idea, because we want to control the promotion squares. So after f3, here c7, here pawn advances and pawn advances, and this is completely won. For this reason, here black needs to play king to b6. After that, king can play to someplace d6 or d7, and after pawn advances again and again, here this game is draw. It isn't easy if you're not you don't understand very well endgames, but the idea is just to give checks. Okay, so for example, if I was playing this position with white, probably I would start with probably c7, it's easy. And if you continue giving checks and bringing the king to the king side, this will be an easy draw. So king b5 and for example queen e5, you need to be careful with another point. This queen will try to play here, for example, and give check, this kind of stuff. Because of that, you will need to be careful. You don't want to exchange the queens if the king is outside the square. So be careful with that, please. You don't want to lose this position. So here, for example, after queen takes h5, everything is easy. So the position is completely draw. Of course, I'm assuming that no one gives up the queen, of course. So with that, we finish another video. This one was about endgames, and it's a study, but in my opinion, this is a very important endgame study, because those two studies helps you to improve the rule of the squares rule, and helps you to improve what is the best approach of reaching the central squares, the quickest way of reaching those squares. And in my opinion, because of that, it's very important to understand those studies, because, well, on those days, they didn't add computers, they didn't add nothing. And if you put those two studies on table basis, the study is perfect. Richard Réti hasn't failed nothing. So those guys were geniuses. And Richard Réti is a legend. This guy needs to be understood and studied. So because of that, we will study Réti in the future. So if you haven't saw the other endgame studies and positions that we already saw, you need to see. Don't forget, click over there, and you have time. I think you have 5 or 10 seconds, I don't know, but yeah, we have plenty of material about endgames. And if you reached this video until the end, if you saw until the end, thank you a lot. It's because of persons like you that I do content every day. Thank you a lot for the support, and don't forget, tomorrow we will be here again with another short and another long form content. Thank you a lot. Continuation of a great night, and till tomorrow. Bye bye.